Do you want to know how you can spot reversals like this, and even like this using Orderflow and institutional tools such as Bookmap and footprint charts? Well, we will be discussing exactly that here today, and we'll talk about why Orderflow is a game-changing tool that I highly recommend traders to use, and how you can actually use Orderflow to spot reversals with very high efficiency and get a potential sniper entry on a potential move to occur. So let's dive straight into this. So you may be wondering, hey, what exactly is order flow? Order flow, think about order flow in this way. When I mean order flow, I'm talking about everything that happens inside of candlesticks. I'm talking about the actual things that the auction is doing and what makes the market actually move. Here at V2, we look at the market as an auction, and that's why we use footprint and bookmap so much. In a footprint chart, what you get to see inside each and every single candle is the bid orders and the ask orders being executed at every single price. This gets to show us the relationship between aggressive sellers on the left side and aggressive buyers on the right side. And we also see the total volume executed at each price level on the far right side as well. We also get to see delta, and delta on my footprint is with these red bars, red or green bars at the left hand side next to this candle. By understanding the distribution of aggressive sellers and buyers on the market, you get to understand where buyers or sellers are coming in with more strength and where they're getting absorbed within the market. And by using that, you can spot reversals, and we'll get into how as well. Now, Bookmap. What Bookmap is it shows you the distribution of limit or passive orders on the market. The auction is market orders and limit orders all within the internal side of the market. You cannot see this simply by looking at a candlestick chart. You get to see all these limit orders distributed by and visualized by the heat map on Bookmap. So what that means is when there is more red or when there's more heat on Bookmap, it shows you where a lot of limit orders or passive orders are sitting on the market. And by understanding this, you can use a relationship between Bookmap, your normal candlestick charts, and your key levels alongside the relationship between buyers and sellers at a certain level. So now that you understand what order flow is, the actual auction mechanisms, and how you can spot the auction mechanisms using order flow, bookmap, and footprint, let's go straight into how you as a trader can spot reversals using it. Let's take a look at this example right here, right? So what we did here on ES was we just marked out some key levels on the charts, right? On the 1 hour, we have a key liquidity level down here at these lows. And then this is where a high volume node is. And if you look on Bookmap, 5480 is an area where there's lots of Bookmap liquidity as well. And we marked out our upper liquidity levels as well. And these are simple markings of market structure and their key levels. Here at V2, we just call that liquidity. Now, if you go down to smaller time frame, we see that price, after market open, price was going up, down, and then finally we push lower and we sweep this liquidity level right here. Now, we're waiting to see a reaction on this level, right? And what we also notice is that on Bookmap, there's key liquidity down at these lows. Now, what that means is that our liquidity marked out on the chart lines up in relativity with liquidity that is on Bookmap, which is this large area of heat or limit orders on Bookmap. So that already is making me pay more attention to these levels. When you approach a level on the chart and you see some type of order flow confluence, that is your first signal to give it a deeper look and see if there's any opportunities to be presented itself. Let me say that one more time. When you're at a key level and you see order flow confluence, it is a sign for you to look deeper within the market to find any potential opportunities that result. Simply because they're lining up, it provides us with more of an idea and more context between the market, right? Now we have confirmed that this is a very key level and we want to see the reaction at this level. Who knows, we might break this level, retrace to it, and then push down. Or we can do what we did here. We can use this level as an area to grab liquidity to move higher. But it's hard to tell. You can't really tell simply by looking at a candlestick chart unless you have years and years of experience. And that's where the idea of order flow and bookmap and footprint come in. Taking a look at this example, like I mentioned, we came down to a key level and just take a look at bookmap, right? These red orders, these red bubbles on bookmap show you the sell volume of what is going on at each price level relatively, right? When we come down to this key level on bookmap, right? That is also a key level on our charts. What do you notice? You see large sell orders at the bottom. And upon 3 touches of this key liquidity level, you see 3 large sell orders being executed right at the bottom. But what is happening to the price? Price is struggling to break through this level. It is showing us that this level likely has lots of passive buyers within the market, likely wanting to exhaust and absorb sellers, potentially reversing market upwards. By understanding the bubbles on Bookmap, you can already identify what we call as absorption. And what absorption is it's essentially an area where, although there is a large volume of either buyers or sellers coming in, it is not working to help push price towards the side of that large volume participant. In simple terms, think of it when a buyer is coming into the market but is unable to push price higher, or when a seller, large selling volume is coming into the market but is unable to push price lower. This is showing us that all that buyer sell volume is getting absorbed and that price may potentially reverse at that level. Here, we typically just want to look at these bookmap levels and see what happens with price at those levels, right? In some bookmap levels, we just break straight through them. Like, look what we did right here, right? We broke straight through that level. We're just essentially looking to see a reaction towards the level, and if there's any opportunity to be made off these levels, we can take it. So right here, you could have spotted a reversal by understanding the idea of absorption, seeing all these sell orders come in, but price be unable to reverse the market. And this already is a very good sign. But to take things to another level of depth, let's take a look at the footprint charts. Now here, if you go to the same lows where we're getting absorbed on Bookmap clearly, take a look at what's going on the Bookmap, right? First of all, we have these wicks, which is normal price action. But look what's happening in these wicks, right? We're seeing a large seller delta get introduced here at these lows. And that seller delta is indicated by these red bars, right? We're majority selling delta down at these lower areas, right? And we do have decent significant volume at these lows. Price came down, but even with all this seller pressure, we're unable to continue going lower, showing us and giving us another sign that there is a potential passive buyer in the market. And another confirmation is, look at this candle. As we're going up on this candle, large buying delta is coming in. And look at the difference between the spread of orders. We're seeing a lot of aggressive buying come in. All of this is all giving signs towards a reversal. It's all in the way that you comprehend and use these numbers in context that you can spot reversals within the market. In this trade, we spotted absorption via the reaction on these bookmap levels, and we spotted that there's large seller delta at these lows, but it is unable to push price lower. And as we're seeing green delta come in, we can likely push price higher. And if you look on the charts, that's exactly what happened. You could have likely entered down here at these low areas around here, putting your stop loss around 60 ticks, targeting these highs potentially. And likely this would have been a late entry. You could likely enter down here in these wicks, leaving for a nice 2 to 3 risk to reward ratio, which is always good to see. Now, let's get you some more examples just so you can take this idea of how to spot reversals using order flow and actually learn using these examples as well. So let's take a look at these highs right here and also these highs right here. So at 9:50 and at 10:20. So actually maybe we'll check this one, but we'll figure it out. But at 9:50, let's go to 9:50 on the Bookmap live stream. Should be right around here. Okay. I want to give a shout out to Alex with Think with Bookmap. It's a great resource. It's completely free. I highly recommend beginner traders to use it to get a hang of Bookmap. And it's a great resource that I highly recommend you guys to check out. But take a look at what happened at 9:50. We started coming up to this level and we see sellers coming in, but buyers are still holding if you look at a candlestick chart, right? If we look on the footprint chart, take a look at what is going on. We're seeing movement between barriers, right? But at the top, at these levels, we're seeing a large buyer volume come in as indicated by these bubbles. And unfortunately, price isn't pushing up higher. At these lows, we are getting large seller volume, but after we use that seller volume indicated by these stops, price still could not push above this 5515 level, which eventually led to our breakout below. That's some context I was giving on Bookmap. In my opinion, this isn't enough confluence to let you capitalize off of this, but let's take a look on footprint and see if there's anything there that we could have capitalized off of as well. So let's go up to these highs right here. Well, that's actually pretty great. Just by taking a look at these highs, tell me what you see, right? We see there's not much on this candle to work with, but on this candle, we're seeing large amounts of buying delta enter at this level. Same with this candle right here. Large amounts of buying delta here at this level. Now, if we go back to 40 minutes or 45 minutes prior, take a look at what happened here. You see large amounts of seller delta here at this level with high volume there as well. So already, just look at the past, like 45 minutes ago, you see that there's large selling volume being transacted. But here, suddenly, there's large buying volume being transacted. But is price getting rewarded by this large buying orders? No. Price is unable to push higher, and understanding order flow and the liquidity levels on Bookmap, we can see that although buyers are coming in at these levels, price is not going upwards, which is showing us that there's potential institutional or passive orders at this area, potentially helping take price low. And if you take a look at what happened on the candlestick chart, we did happen to make a move lower down here. Now let's take a look down here to see if there's any reversal there, and this would be at 9:55. 9:55. Okay, wow. Yeah, so if you just take a look, right, we saw all this selling pressure come down. But take a look to where we ended our selling pressure. I think this was clear prior, but let's just take a look. Okay, so we saw buyer absorption up at these highs on Footprint and Bookmap. We started moving lower, and we moved lower down to these 5,500 levels, where we did see decent amounts of liquidity be in the market. You pushed all the way down to 5,500, and although these large selling volume came, we quickly made a move towards the upside. Now let's see what happens. And then from that 5,500 level, which is a key psychological level as well, keep that in mind. From this 5,500 level, we left large seller volume at these lows, and as we push up, decent volume, not decent volume, you can clearly see that there isn't as many buyers in terms of volume than sellers, but still buying is pushing up after taking this level. So that provides you a bit of context within the market at that area. But let's take a look on the footprint as well down at these lows. Yeah, so down at these lows, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a large seller delta come into play. You see much more selling at these lows than buying. And potentially that could indicate that we can reverse because sellers are getting absorbed at these lows and they're unable to push price lower. Now, for this one in particular, I likely would not enter because the significance of the context that we have gotten from order flow is not as significant as we would like to actually capitalize off of it. So let's go here and see if there's one more example. So right around 10:20 a.m. Okay, so what I see going on is we come up. Nah, this is not even 10:20 yet. There. So what I see going on is every time we come up to these 5520 levels on ES, relative to the area, we're seeing large buying volume come in, but then sellers holding this level. Large buy volume come in, sellers holding this level. Now, prior to this area, we have not touched into liquidity, but now we are touching into liquidity and we're seeing large amounts of buying volume come in, but we're unable to push price higher. Let's take a look on the footprint chart, right? Take a look at all these highs, right? We're seeing a zone of high buying delta up at these highs, but price is unable to push price higher. Buyers are unable to push the price higher, showing us that there's likely passive selling going around at these highs on Bookmap, and that we may potentially see a reversal. And as we start seeing large selling volume come in, that could potentially be a good indicator that it might be time to enter short. You start seeing large selling delta already start to peek through at this candle. But the next candle, when you start seeing this break through, when you start seeing the seller delta get introduced with this much significance, that is a good entry point because it provides you with extra confidence on your trade. But that's essentially all I have here for today regarding how to spot reversals using order flow. We talked about what order flow actually is and how you can use it with your key levels on the charts. We talked and provided you through how you can use Bookmap and footprint charts to identify where absorption is. we talked about what exactly absorption is in Orderflow, and we walked you through 1, 2, 3, 4 examples. We walked you through 4 examples here today so you guys can really understand how you can spot reversals using Orderflow. And when you see something significant pop up, there's definitely more potential with Orderflow than anything else, in my opinion. That's why I highly recommend you guys to use it. And to use it for free, I have another video on my channel that tells you exactly how to do so. But you can use footprint charts by using Addis charts with a 15-minute delay. And you can use Bookmap by using the Bookmap live stream with this channel right here. I highly recommend you guys to check it out. That's all I have here for today. I hope you gained a thing or two from this video, and you can gain a lot more by subscribing to the channel or joining the Discord for free. The link is in the description. We want to build a community of like-minded, growing traders. You can also leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions there. And I'll see you guys later today for a pre-week analysis session in which I'll take you through potential preferred outcomes for the week and some overall analysis as well. I hope to see you there, and I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.